Hey, what's up, YouTube? I just want to talk some common sense today about this whole Ebola thing going on. And I know it's been a long time since I posted anything, but I want to talk about this. I've been wanting to for a while. I guess I'll just get to the point. Did y'all see that passenger who got kicked off a U.S. flight for joking about Ebola the other day? I guess they landed the plane and brought on some people in some like garbage bag, biohazard, hazmat suits or whatever to take this guy who had made a joke about Ebola off the plane. And I heard he said something like, "You guys are all fucked, I have Ebola," or something. And I don't know the manner or how he actually said it, if it was obviously joking, but I saw on the news just a brief highlight of it, and they were showing the hazmat crew coming onto the plane, walking down the aisle. I think it was like a narrow plane, like there was 2 rows of seats, maybe 3 rows of seats on each side of the aisle, and that was it. And everyone's got their cell phone out and just filming this shit. Like, oh, here's the Ebola hazmat crew just coming on the plane. This is going to be on YouTube or Facebook, or we can put it all on social media. I'm going to pull my phone out and film it. I'm like, all right, I mean, whatever. It's just goofy. But I got the impression from that they could kind of tell, like, the guy's just joking. I can't imagine what the awkward rest of the plane ride was like after dude made his joke and we're gonna land this plane and take him off in a hazmat suit. Like, did he apologize? Was he, "I'm just joking, guys"? Like, I mean, I don't know. Nonetheless, how would you like to be on a plane when all of a sudden a bunch of hazmat people come on it and whatever? And I saw someone on Twitter today. I'm on Twitter now too. Psychic Dog Talk is my handle or whatever. If you're not following me, you should be. But somebody on Twitter posted something like, America's new Ebola policy is foreigners with Ebola are free to fly into the country, but Americans with Ebola are banned from air travel now. That sounds like some, I don't know, it almost sounds like what it is. Like, I'm sure it's not that simple, but what is this nurse who was treating an Ebola patient, patient 0 in Dallas, doing in Cleveland? Because now that's the new thing, that she's infected too, and the day before, she was in Cleveland, and she flew back on a commercial flight from Cleveland to Dallas. I'm going to assume she flew to Dallas, or she drove to Dallas, which may or may not be, drove to Cleveland. She flew to Cleveland, or, somehow she got there, too. If she was in Dallas treating patient 0, and she's flying back from Cleveland the day before she comes down with Ebola, she must have got to Cleveland somehow. Did she drive? Was she on a Greyhound? Was she flying? Who knows, but where do you not want Ebola to be? Airports, right? I mean, if not airports, maybe like Walmart distribution warehouses and Amazon and FedEx people and, I don't know, major trucking companies that go all around the country. But yeah, you don't want it to be in airports. And here she is. She had just treated somebody with Ebola a week or 2 prior. You'd think there might, I don't know. I guess they really trust those biohazmat garbage bags or whatever they're wearing, but doesn't that just seem so risky and unnecessary? Like, yeah, I'm fine. We're not going to wait the 3 weeks or whatever this thing could be dormant or take to incubate in me to make sure I'm clean. We're just going to fly off to Cleveland. And Fox News on the radio I heard today, they interrupted to say something about that nurse supposedly did not go to Kent State University's campus, but she was visiting relatives in Cleveland who work at Kent State. So, who knows? Had she driven across the country or rode a Greyhound to get to Cleveland, that might even be worse, because it's like, how many spots should you stop and get out and get gas and touch this or that? But this Ebola thing, I think it's serious. I think people really should. Fuck, it's a disease that kills, 70, 90, even 50% of the people? Like, that's, you got better odds playing Russian roulette or something. And it's like, why aren't they shutting down travel from West Africa and the countries that actually have this? Like, do we really need these people to come here? And, what are they coming here for? I don't care. Yeah, it almost becomes a race issue at some point, but it really isn't. Maybe it's a xenophobic issue, or maybe it's you have fucking Ebola, like, stay there until this shit chills out, or, it's just, you don't want Ebola getting to the airports, because let's talk about this. Like, Ebola's been around in Africa for a long time, and it hasn't just totally spread like crazy. And they act like we got a better infrastructure to handle it here. But at the same time, don't we have a better infrastructure to spread it here? i.e. public transit, buses, cars, automobiles. I mean, just the potential for you to go. I mean, shit, you could have Ebola and drive all the way across the country before you realize you have Ebola. And how many gas stations you just stop at? How many places did you spread it? But it's like, what are they going to do about it? Because here's the other thing. The other side of the coin is, how long is it going to take for Ebola to translate into martial law somewhere on American soil? Because at some point, if Dallas is just ravaged with Ebola or some shit, someone's going to be like, well, let's secure the border and not let people out of the city or the state or whatever. But, I mean, this is a... I can't even explain it. This is like human instinct. This is a zombie apocalypse. Like, that population on this side of the fence has Ebola. You better shoot them when they start coming across the fence or the field, or however you want to phrase that. Like, one, I think they're doing too little too late. Like, why are we still letting flights in from West Africa? What? It just doesn't even make sense to me. I don't know what we even import in terms of products from West Africa, but it's like whatever they have, we can probably find it elsewhere. At least until they get this fucking shit under control over there. Now, I'm not saying should doctors be banned from going over there to help out? No. But it should be more of an organized thing. Like, you shouldn't just be able to, well, I'm going to go fly. I mean, they worry about all these terrorists and shit. Well, like, if you really are a terrorist, how hard is it to go buy a plane ticket to wherever you got to go, probably through Europe or whatever, to get to one of these Ebola hot zones? I don't know, go volunteer, help out, go whatever, mingle with the locals and come back. Like, that to me seems plausible enough. And like, you hear on the news them talking about the different ways that you could even get around airport screening procedures, and I'm not going to say them, but they're out there, people know them, and it's like, what do we need people from West Africa coming here for right now? Like, you know what I mean? We don't have enough jobs for people here. We don't have enough housing. We have Americans in poverty. And say, I mean, I don't want to get into the difference between first and third world countries and shit, but like, I think we should worry about numero uno first. You know what I mean? Take care of the home first. But, so let's talk about that flight. We know the nurse who now has Ebola was on from Cleveland to Dallas. How many people were on it? 100? Somewhere, give or take? I don't know. Now, to me, I mean, one, I don't like the CDC. Two, I think we should have probably a Christian gentleman running that, but that's a whole other story. But three, should they be able to come in, or should they at least be contacting the people who were on this flight? Like, hey, you guys were exposed to Ebola. Now, what do you want to do about it? Do you want to go about your life, huh? Do you want to just go to work and go to Kent State University and mingle with students and whatnot? Do you want to stay home and see if you get the disease and not spread it potentially? I mean, that's the most ideal option, some sort of self-quarantine. But suppose you don't and you're like, no, fuck it, or I can't afford it, which is probably the real majority of those people on that plane. Like, I mean, can you just afford to take 3 weeks off or whatever? Like, no, I'm not going to go to work anymore. And, you know, do you have 3 weeks worth of food in your house to eat? There's some logistics here. Like, I mean, to me, I think that we should be saying, yeah, you are at risk of Ebola. You could have caught it. You're probably fine. You're just on the plane. But nonetheless, we need you to stay home. We're going to have some nice food shipped into you. Fuck, we'll turn HBO on for a month at your house or whatever it takes. Like, make it comfortable for these people, but have some sort of a self-voluntary house arrest, quarantine, stay home, whatever. And then have doctors available too, because it's like, well, they should be treated. I mean, if they're going to go through that, the whole 3 weeks or whatever, I mean, they should get the best treatment. I'm going to be, out of the goodness of my heart, sitting at home, not, you know, cooking in a restaurant for somebody so I can pay my rent, potentially giving hundreds of people Ebola or whatever. Like, this is a deadly disease, you know? And they're not even treating it like it is. But I saw Ebola, or I saw Obama, President Ebola, whatever you want to call him, went on TV today and supposedly said that he had hugged and kissed some nurse or some doctor who was treating the Ebola patient. I mean, good luck. Keep up the good work. You know, that's what we want from a president. Go hug and kiss them all, I guess, right? I mean, this shit is fucking obnoxious. I mean, does that make you feel safer? You know, like, what? Does that... Shit, I don't know. It doesn't make me feel any safer, I can tell you that much. It's like, shouldn't we have some method? I mean, same thing with patient zero. Who has he come in contact with? Where are those kids that, you know, he talked to, or someone he came in contact and talked to? Like, they need to not be in public schools anymore. They need to be sitting at home or sitting in... I mean, fuck, what about the homeless people he came in contact to? Are there homeless people he came in contact with? Like, They need to have rooms set up, be it a FEMA trailer or some fucking shit where it's like, I think I was exposed to Ebola. I'd like to take 30 days off of society and go sit around by myself with my dog who may have been exposed or whatever and just fucking chill out and see. Like, no, you didn't get it, or yeah, you have it. Thank you for self-quarantining yourself and not potentially spreading it. Here's some treatment. Like, 2, it seems like they want to keep giving people blood transfusions from people who survived Ebola. And that probably would be what I would want if I had Ebola, the natural antibodies or whatever. But is there enough of that to go around? Probably not. I guess what it comes down to is, do you trust the government? Do you trust every person who works for the government? Do you trust Barack Obama and the Ebola outbreak in America is not very likely? If you like your plan, you can keep it, blah, blah, blah. What difference does it make? I mean, the shit's serious. To me, they should be encouraging every American to have like 30 days worth of food, because we're talking this self-quarantine shit, but what if this just goes totally out of control? And it's like, no, we're overwhelmed. We can't quarantine you. We cannot get boxes of food dropped off. We can't get treatment to your house. We'd still like it if you stay at home and die alone so you're not spreading the shit. Or, fuck, for all I know and for how it kind of looks and some of the shit you see on the internet, I think a lot of people think, is this some depopulation shit? I mean, is this something we can watch the economy collapsing and blame it on? Because it seems like the economy is on a fucking, I don't know, runaway train, just keep printing money until fucking people figure out what's going on type thing. Like, yeah, I think there are people who would like to see Ebola come in. They can probably just move off to their fucking mansion or compound in the country where it's not a threat to them. But, I mean, your average American in blue-collar cities and whatnot who has to go to the fucking store to get their food, good luck. I mean, shit. How dirty is the fucking paper money we're using? You know what I mean? And then, 2, what kind of, I mean, say Ebola really does hit here to the point where it's like you don't have truckers going to work anymore to get the food to the grocery store. You don't have the oil getting the gasoline refined or whatever. And it's like you don't have school teachers going to school anymore. So you got kids at home. I mean, just the whole potential for chaos and disruption of status quo, business as usual. Not that, I mean, to me, the human life element and the fucking avoiding pandemic side of it trumps the whole business as usual. You know, like they're talking about, oh, the disruption shutting down air traffic could cause, like, it's just funny. The liberals want to push all sorts of goofy, unconstitutional gun bans and this and that on the, well, if it could save one children, if we can ban saturated fat, if we can make your soda so it's less than fucking 12 ounces, if it can only save one child, if we can get Joe Camel off the cigarettes and only save one child. But I mean, the odds of an Ebola outbreak affecting America are pretty low, right? President Ebola just hugged and kissed a nurse who treated an Ebola patient, and, well, I guess good thing or too bad, depending on your perspective, that it wasn't the nurse who just got a fever yesterday, right? Like, it's goofy. And I think, I mean, then, too, you got that NBC doctor, cameraman, violating her self-quarantine, what, Snyderman or whatever her name is? Like, holy fuck. I don't want to travel from West Africa anymore. And I feel like if these idiots want to go over there, let them stay there for a while. There should be something. How about this? The Navy has hospitals. I mean, we all know the TV show MASH. You've seen those mobile Army hospital units. There's shit like that they can set up someplace. Why don't they have a quarantine area like they used to have out next to Ellis Island, where people who are sick come in here would get quarantined? Or fuck, let's put a boat out fucking 100-some miles from shore or whatever and fucking let all these people get quarantined there, so it's not just going to run away loose, because that's the difference, I think. America, you can hop on taxis and go push a shopping cart around Walmart, and before you know it, this thing's at airports and riding trains to different cities. It's the bus station. I mean, fuck, I think I'm young and healthy, and I like to think that if I get Ebola, I could beat it, but, I mean, you probably have better odds playing Russian roulette. You know what I mean? Like, we should be taking this shit seriously. And to me, there should be a real effort, not just to monitor the people who may have come in contact with this shit. Like, there should be an effort to reach out to them and say, hey, you could have come in contact with Ebola. We want you to stay home. You know, we're going to have food dropped off to you, blah, blah, blah. Make it comfortable for these people to do it. You know, we'll keep your internet on. We'll help you pay your phone bill. You don't have to just sit in the fucking Stone Age. But, like, I mean, fuck, dude, look at all the shit the government wastes money on. To me, if they want to pay people $5,000 or some stupid shit to fucking, like, yes, you have come in contact with Ebola, you potentially could have, there's a risk, this is worth it to our society that you stay at home, voluntary quarantine will get you treatment. I mean, to me, that beats the whole Obama phones, and I want to live on SSI or food stamps or Section 8 or whatever other goofy program, whatever foreign country they want to send my tax dollars off to. It's like, whatever. Mr. Obama has it all covered, and this admin and the CDC and not the World Health Organization. I mean, how do these doctors keep getting it through the suits? You know, like these nurses, they act like they got it all under control. They got these full-on garbage bag hazmat things, but they keep coming down with it. How? And then how is your average American not gonna? If you listen to me this far and you don't have like 30 days worth of food and water in your house and bleach so that you could hole up, probably guns and shit to protect it, like, yeah, because I mean, literally, who knows where it's going, but to be prepared to like, I'm just gonna hole up and not leave my house for at least 30 days here because this shit's out of control and Walking Dead type situation out in the street. I don't know, you probably should take those steps to procure some of those items, water. I mean, it's basic, the necessities of life, you probably should be able to get them, but I wouldn't count on the government. You know what I mean? I wouldn't count on some Katrina type shit, especially when this is in multiple cities. Good luck. You know what I mean? Make sure you tip your West African taxi driver well. They're taking our gerbs. America, fuck yeah.